Brennan Ward versus Ken Hasegawa at Rizen in Japan was a Bellator guy coming over to kind of take on the Rizen guy. But how the crowd would respond to him was a big X factor. It was a virtual unknown in Japan, and everything leading up to it, I think, was stacked against Brennan Ward. He had flown in the day before. He hadn't had any time to adjust to the jet lag. He was facing a guy who had fought comfortably at heavyweight. He was fighting a guy who was undefeated, who was Japanese in his hometown. And in that fight, he told me I was warming up in the back, falling asleep. And this is a guy who's used to fighting with explosive energy, and he said, I just didn't have it. And so he came out there, and Hasegawa came right at him. And what I remember most about that is he would hit Hasegawa with everything he had, some really good shots. And Hasegawa would always find a way to get that takedown and end up on top. And there were moments of adversity in that fight when Hasegawa, the much naturally bigger guy, had side control, had dominant positions, had the crucifix, had both arms trapped. When I went, I don't know if Brennan can overcome this kind of physical deficit. What happens to a fighter like that when things don't go their way? A lot of that fight, things weren't going Brennan Ward's way. He was in trouble on the ground a lot. And every time he managed to overcome until he got the finish, not just a knockout finish, he got a finish on the ground against a guy who had been dominating him on the ground. That's a great comeback. And when he jumped onto those ropes, that Japanese crowd went nuts. He got over there. He didn't just win the fight, he won the crowd. That was a great moment and a great fight for Brennan Ward.